Hi, and welcome to this webinar on effective use of online tools for assessment and feedback. My name is Heather Lyle, and I am a chemistry teacher in Midlothian and have been for the past 6 years. First of all, I just want to say I'm absolutely no expert on online tools. It's just something I've been playing around with for the past few years, particularly during the pandemic. And the ones that I have selected to show you are the ones that I find are most effective in a variety of different ways. But there are thousands out there which you can use. So the objectives of this webinar are to learn about different online tools that are available and to look at each one in particular, see how to effectively use it in both the classroom and for the pupils at home, and to look at the data that each produce and how you can use these, because everyone produces slightly different data that you can use in different ways, and some of them are better for some things than others. So the first online tool we're going to be looking at is Quizlet. Quizlet is a really good one for the pupils to use to help them revise. It is using pre-made flashcards, and the pupils can use various different modes to help them learn the content. You can either create your own flashcards. Quizlet, and you're creating the flashcards, it sometimes gives you suggestions. So you'll give like a term and a definition. If you put the term in, it sometimes gives you a suggested definition if it's got one saved in its system. Or you can go and search the thousands of different sets that they have available already, and you can often copy these ones or share them or copy and then edit them to get your content correct. The pupils could also make their own flashcards. It's really easy for the pupils and yourselves to make an account, whether you've got a Globe email or a Google email. It works for both of them. You can get a free version of this, or you can get a paid version of it as well. The main difference with the paid version is that you get more classes that you can have, and you can then get a bit more data from it in the end. In our school, we're very fortunate that for some of these online accounts, we have whole school subscriptions, and for the ones that we don't, that we think are useful, we have science department subscriptions that come out of our science budget. This then means that it works and we know we've got the most effective use of them. The Quizlet itself, you can have each classes. So I have, for example, in my chemistry classes, I have one for my Nat 5s, one for my higher, one for the S3s, and you can add sets as you go along. So once I've done a key area, I can add that set into the class, and it means that they're the only ones that the pupils can see. And they quite like that because it then means that they've got the class, they can then go and see all the key areas we've done, and they can go back and revise the ones that they've not done for a while. So in terms for the pupils, they can study that in loads of different modes, whether it's just a flashcard mode, whether it's a wee test mode, where it changes around the different styles of questions that it asks. And for some subjects, it might be quite good to do the write and spell mode, particularly maybe modern languages. The only downside with this is that if you're doing like the test mode, you have to put exact wording in. So if you don't have the exact wording that the flashcard has, it then means that they get marked as wrong. The other thing that can be a bit fiddly at first is sometimes if you're wanting to test on the definition from the term, you have to make sure you've set it up properly. It's really easy to change when you go into it and go into the options, but it is something that for some reason always gets a bit mixed up and it always starts with the one you don't want. You can monitor your classes if you have a class folder, and this is something that's in the paid feature, is that you can see exactly who's done what. So say, for example, you wanted them to learn some flashcards for homework or before an assessment just to see who had done what revision. You can go and see, all right, so-and-so's done the test, someone's learned the flashcards. What it also does, which my higher class seem to have a bit of a competition about, is at the end of every month, it gives you an update of who are the top 3 for each class. So my higher class are in competition to see who can be in the top for February. It is a really good tool to use, and the kids do really enjoy it, the ones who like this way. It also saves them time of writing flashcards because it is really quick. And like I say, there are thousands out there, and I have found there's lots of national ones for different subjects, so you don't always have to go back and make your own. The next online tool we're going to have a look at is one of our favourites. It's Quizizz. Quizizz is just a quiz that the pupils can do at their own pace, or you can do it in teacher-led mode. I personally much prefer this over Kahoot and things like that. The reason I like this one is that if you do it in the normal mode, the pupils can just do it at absolutely their own pace. They're not waiting for everyone else or quickly guessing an answer. Yeah, it's all done on points, but you can also see a percentage of what they get right. So someone might have more points, but you can still see that they have the same percentage. They do get power-ups and things as they go along, and they do get points for answering things quickly, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with them taking their time and reading the questions at their own pace, which is what I really like about this one. After it, the pupils get their own wee report, so an individual one, so and so can say, oh right, I saw that I got 60% right, and it comes up with the questions that they got wrong. And from a teacher's perspective, as soon as the quiz finishes, you get each question red, amber, greened for saying which percentage of the pupils got it correct. So I quite like doing that after the quiz, I can say to the pupils, right, these are all our red questions, let's go through them together, or I can then know, right, the other bits I need to go back and revise. It's also good because you can see the individual pupils' results. So like for this bit up here, you can see that really quickly everyone got question 5 right, but actually you need to go back and go over question 4 and maybe question 8 as well. That's more after the fact though. So these reports stay, they don't just disappear. So it means that if you've done it at the end of a topic or something, and then the class is going out, you've got another one coming in, when you've got time, you can go back and look at the report and actually use that data to then create your next lesson or your revision lessons for the future. The pupils also then get flashcards for the questions they got wrong, and it means that, say, I've often done it that I've had it, and then my plenary is, right, spend 5 minutes learning the flashcards that you got wrong. If you got them all right, go and do something else. You can assign these quizzes for homework, and you can get it up to like a certain deadline if you want to do it for a specific date, or you can sign it for up to 6 months. I quite like doing that for my senior classes. I've got kind of like create QR codes, and I can just share links, and I say to them, right, I want you to all go away and learn these ones, or I've got the QR codes for all the key areas we've done. So if it means that they're struggling, they can just go scan a QR code, and if they've got a spare 5 minutes, and off they go and do it. It does work really, really well for that reason. You do again get a free version of this and a paid version for this one. The addition with the paid version is that you can create more sets of quizzes, but also you can create more classes and get more data at the end of it. The free version is still fab. You can still create classes and pupils can still sign up to these classes. You just don't get as many options. When creating a quiz, you can either create one yourself and write your own questions. You can also what they call teleport questions in from sets that they think are quite similar, which is quite good. Or again, you can save a copy and edit a quiz that is already on the system. And again, there are thousands of quizzes on this server itself. You're also not limited just to multiple choice questions. You have the choice of doing like fill in the blank ones or open-ended ones as well, which is really good. The only problem with that is for some of the open-ended ones, it just won't come out as a mark. You'll have to either just go and mark it yourself, or it just won't give them a right or wrong answer for that. I'll just let them see the answer at the end. For quizzes, if you're not wanting them to go at their own pace and you want to do a wee teacher-led mode, you can absolutely do that. I was using that mode a lot during lockdown when we were doing live lessons. I've not done it so much since we've been back in school, but it is good for if you have a few questions that you know will be tricky, because you can put it up, they put their answers up, and you can automatically, straight after the question, go through the different answers and say that why that's good. I also keep a track in a wee spreadsheet of all their quizzes scores for the key area tests. Again, it's just another wee method that I can see that so and so is really good at this one key area but not so good at the other one. It's just extra evidence that I have for when it comes to helping them get their revision done. We also use it for BGE. At the end of, again, each topic we've decided to do for S1 and S2 and S3, it's another just form of evidence that we have, but also it sometimes takes away from the big, massive formal assessments we need to do. Sometimes the pupils find this one a little bit less daunting as well. Also, you can use like the extensions that you have on Chrome for like the read writing things if anyone's struggling with that sense. The next one we're going to look at might be one that some of you are more familiar with. It's called GymKit. GymKit is an online quiz. What I quite like about GymKit was it was actually designed by people who were using it and thinking, well, actually, some of the quizzes are a little bit boring. How can we jazz it up and make it more exciting? And there are so many different modes in GymKit that you can use. And actually, they're creating more all the time. Again, GymKit's another one that you can either have a free or a paid subscription for. In the paid one, you just get a little bit few extra features, but the free one is still very, very good. For GymKit, I would say the pupils absolutely love GymKit, and you'll find that they all have their favourite mode that when you pop it up, they'll all be going, oh, can we do the floor is lava mode? Can we just do the classic mode? And teachers often have their favourite ones as well. The good thing about this is that it just asks questions over and over again. So in like the classic mode, they're basically gaining money, and every time they get it right, they accumulate money, and it's on an accumulator. So if they get 10 right in a more, they get more and more money for the more they get right in a row. So they will just keep repeating. So it's great for the retrieval practice side of things. The thing that I am not as keen on for GymKit is the data you get at the end. You can go back and look at the reports for the classes, but I just find they're not as easy to use as, for example, the quizzes ones. And that because it's that quick retrieval practice, if you're using it, I more use it for them to practice the content rather than to test the content at the end. So I would maybe say, right, I've got a GymKit that I want you to go and learn this content so they can go and do that for 10 minutes. But I would be using the quizzes for any sort of assessment that I wanted them to do. It then also just means that I know they've been asked the question once, not repeatedly. But this is still very, very good for them to get it right. And pupils from S1 up to S6 quite like GymKit. Definitely preferred in the BGE sense, but the seniors also quite like it as well because it's something a bit fun and a bit different. This is the different bits of data you get at the end. So again, you can really quickly see, I can see Ailey got 20 right and 18 wrong. So there is a bit of revision that she needs to do. Or equally, you can look at each question in turn and see, oh, I know that lots of people understood the difference between compounds and mixtures, but actually naming a compound was quite difficult. A lot of people got that wrong. So we need to go back and revise that. It just doesn't give you as much data as what I think other ones do. Loads of people use GymKit, and like I say, this one's really easy to get a whole school subscription for, because when you have the school code, you can then go and make your own sets that use your own account onto the school subscription. So it's quite good in that sense as well. And again, you can create your own classes, so you can just assign it to a class, or you can just like copy and paste the link on. It's really easy to do both live and for the homework as well. The next one, this one is a revision website, and this one is a paid one. It's called Achieve. This is for senior phase pupils who are doing their exams. Most courses are on there now. There are still some courses that are missing. This website is how pupils can use to traffic light success criteria. So there is, for every little key area, there's little statements that they can go and traffic light. It also has links to revision links, so different websites, but all and different videos for each statement. And each statement is also linked to some past paper questions as well. There are now getting introduced some assess modes, so you can go and create some multiple choice assessments from questions that are in a big question bank. So you could either go and select a question bank and just say, right, I'll select 5 or 10 different questions from loads of random areas, or you could say, right, I want to do all the questions from the atom key area topic and just select all of them and off you go. From a teacher's perspective, I quite like it for the success criteria, the rating. I find the kids are pretty honest with this. So you can quickly go and see either per pupil what their ratings were, so which ones specifically each pupil found hard, or you can go and see as a whole class, oh, I know that everyone was really good for this little statement here, but 86% of people didn't quite understand how to use a periodic table to determine an element's properties. That's what I specifically need to go back and revise. Then here, this is when you get at the end of the assess mode, that I can either again see for individual pupils what they got right, or I can go and see for a whole class one as well and see what that they got right there. The website is a little bit fiddly to use at first. Because there's a lot of different stuff on there. But what you find is if the pupils are using it in lots of different subjects, they get very used to it as well. This is a whole school subscription, or you can get it for subjects or departments. It does work out cheaper as a whole school one, and then you can just log on and again create your own classes. Like I said, the pupils do really like this, for the sense that everything is on there. So if there's something specific they want to go revise, they can quickly just go click on that statement, get the wee description, or go to some past papers or some other links as well. The next one is Study Stacks. Study Stacks is quite a new one to me. It's one that I discovered, or other people in the department discovered reasonably recently, and it is online flashcards. And I really, really love it, to be honest. The pupils can answer the flashcards and pop them in a don't know or a know pile, and then it could keep testing them on their don't know stuff. You can also use study stacks in various different modes and like different learn ones, different quiz modes. There's also a crossword mode if anyone likes that sort of thing. It's fab from BGE again up to senior phase. This one you can write your own flashcards for. It is really easy. There is saved ones, but I don't find it as easy to find the saved ones as well. But it's really easy just to make your own ones and then share the link with your pupils. It's really good, I find, if I make my own ones, because then I know they have exactly the right wording and information that they need to have. And again, it saves them spending ages making flashcards when you know you've got it all there. The only thing with study stacks is that you don't get the information at the end. So from a teacher perspective, it's great because I know they've got it, they can use it, but I'm kind of just relying and trusting on them. I can't see which ones they don't know and which ones they know, but you'd hope that they'd be doing that work and saying, like, these are the ones I don't know that I need to go and revise. But it is a great one to go and have a wee play around with, and like I said, the pupils do tend to really like it. The next one is something called WordWall. I have found WordWall has been really good, particularly for some BGE classes. It's a great way to revise, and it uses various little games and things. So there's ones that it's like a wee Pac-Man game that you have a question, and you have to go to the right answer before it comes and eats you. This one here is a wee match-up one to the different parts of a plug. You get other ones which are like flip tiles, you have to match things up, or just a general quiz one, or anagrams. Like I say, there's so many different modes, and what's quite good is you can have one quiz that you've made and you can open it up in loads and loads of different modes, so they could just be doing the same thing over and over and over again. This one I found BGE particularly like, just because it's quick and easy to use, but it's also a little bit different to like just doing a normal quiz because there are many different ways you can use it. The data you get at the end, again, it's all right. It's not amazing, but you can quickly see the information that you need. So you can quickly see who got what question right, who was the fastest, which question you need to maybe go back and revise. For some of them, though, it is quite like for the match-up one, it's a little bit harder to see, which ones was the information that you got. So, like, for example, if it says question one, like, which one does it mean by question one, and things like that. But it is really enjoyable, and the pupils do really like using it. They can do it as many times as they want. So again, I've been more using this as practice rather than a sort of assessment type of tool, just so they know, all right, I'm off to go and look and I'm going to practice the parts of the plug, but then I would use something else as an assessment. They also have all their own favourite ones as well. I have one people who just loves doing the Pac-Man one, there's another one who absolutely hates it. It's really easy to use this. You often just make it and you can just share it. Again, you can get a paid version for this, and the only difference in the paid one is that you can have more sets saved. So in the free one, I think it's either 3 or 5 sets that you can have saved at a time and get the data from, whereas in the paid version, you can have loads of different classes and you can use as many sets as you want. Again, there's a bank of thousands and thousands of resources. So if I was looking for like photosynthesis equation, I could just go in and search photosynthesis equation and either use the set or copy and save it and edit it to work for me, or save it but use it in a different mode. So it's really, really quick and easy to use in that sense. The next one is a little bit different. It's more a tool to use to make videos. So it's called EduCreations. I used this loads during lockdown, all the lockdowns. As we were doing content, I was finding if I was just putting like slides up, particularly during the first one, we weren't able to do live lessons. They weren't really understanding it. So I would use EduCreations to make a wee video. And basically, you could have, if you have an iPad, you could be recording something on it and like drawing on it and speaking over it at the same time. You could add pictures in and annotate them and things, and I would add that into the slides, and I just found that the pupils then were able to listen to that and maybe understand it a little bit more than just reading it off the slides. You can also see how many views each video has had, so you know, right, okay, I know that no one's viewed that video, it wasn't needed, or actually everyone viewed that one as well. I am still using it even though we're not in lockdown anymore. I'm still using it and I'm still keeping it in the slides because for any people that are off, I'm finding it's really useful. Or for example, I've not got it for everything I've wanted it to have just because of the time, but there are certain topics that I know are more difficult. So on our Google Classrooms, I've got the slides, I've got these videos in it, and the pupils, if they're revising it or they're going back to look over something, they can go back and listen to the video or watch the video and get an idea of how it works, rather than just giving up or not understanding something. Or specifically, if a pupil goes, oh, I really need help with this specific calculation, I can say, right, well, I can make a quick video on it and hopefully that'll help them. Or it means that when they go home to do some extra practice and they've not got you watching over them, they can just pop the video on, pause it, and go through it at the same pace as the video. I find it really works well for that, particularly when we've got a lot of absences going on just now as well. This you can pay for it. I've not paid for this version of it. The only limit is you can't have lots of videos. There is a limit to the number of videos, but I found that I wasn't reaching the limit. I was absolutely fine with that. And then I think the one time I did reach the limit, I just saw the videos that hadn't had any views and went and deleted them, because I obviously saw they weren't really being watched or used. Or you might find you made a video for specific people to help them, and you can just go back and delete it. The next tool is Padlet. This is an online dashboard, and I kind of call it a one-stop shop. So what you can do for this one is you can say create it. I've created this one for like higher chemistry, and I put all the links that someone could ever want on it. So if they're really struggling for Unit 3, they could go to Unit 3 and see which resources we have there. If they like looking at YouTube videos, they could go down and see the different YouTube videos that are available, or go and get the past papers. So like I say, there's so much on there that you can just make it, and what is quite good is that you can just keep adding stuff in. There are lots of different ways you can have it laid out. That means that you can have it for different things. It's also really good as a Padlet. Say, for example, if you want to do a bit of revision and say, like, let's see what everyone can learn about the periodic table, you could pop the periodic table and they could all add bits in themselves that they know. So then you can say, right, here's a Padlet. So everything you can ever want about periodic table is on here that they've created themselves. It's a bit like some of the Google tools that you get as well if you're quite good at using the Google ones, but it's just a different way of doing it. But like I say, I mainly use it as a one-stop shop, and it's there year after year, and if I find anything, I can go and add it in. Or equally, if pupils find anything, you can have it on a setting. It means that they can add stuff in as well. So say they've created their own revision tool using something that you don't use, they can go and add it in and other people can see it as well. We've used it as a whole school level. We used it a lot when people were leaving, rather than signing a big card. People could go in and add their wee Padlet, add some comments, add a picture, and then when the person left, they just got sent the link, and they really liked that, because you could easily see. Plus, you could add pictures in as well. Again, for whole school level, this one's quite good to use. For like using like learning and teaching stuff, or different websites, different blogs, different podcasts and things like that as well. You don't get any data from this, so although we've got all the revision stuff there, I can't see who's clicked on what, which is a little bit annoying, but it means I know it's there for them to use whenever they want it. The final tool I've got to look at is one called Study Smarter. This tool was actually introduced to me by one of my Nat 5 pupils, and it's one where pupils can create flashcards and revision tools, and they can track their own progress and how long they've spent on each. So say you had a Nat 5 pupil, they could have a folder for each subject they're doing, so say it's 6 subjects, and they can create flashcards within each subject, and then use that to then track their own progress and their own revision. I would say this one's better for your senior pupils because it does take a bit of responsibility, and it is a wee bit of setup to get all your flashcards and revision tools there. But what's quite good is you can just add stuff in. So like you can say copy stuff over from other flashcards. You can download your Quizlet ones and copy that over, or your Study Stack ones as well, and that means that they've got it all there. But they can really quickly see, oh, I've spent loads of time on chemistry, but not as much time on maths or English, I better go and do them. So it's really good for them. From our teacher's perspective, we have really nothing to do with this one, but it's all on the pupils. So we don't get any data, we can't see what they're using it for. But if you have really responsible pupils who want to take ownership of their own revision, it is really good for that sense as well. There are thousands of more tools out there that you can use. Blue Kit who all these other ones are out there. It is a massive industry. There's loads out there, and I'm still learning to find which ones I prefer. My advice is if you've not used any before, pick a couple to look at and really get knowledgeable of those ones and understand how to use them. And then once you've got those ones sorted, go and find some other ones. You might also find that within a department, one person is really good or uses one tool a lot, so you can learn off each other. That's what we do in our department as well. Like I say, I got into gym kit knowing that the French department were using it, then one person from our department, and we all just learned how to use it that way. So it's a really good way of learning. I would take the time to look at what data you get from it so you can figure out how best to use the resource. Like there'd be no point using a gym kit for a bit of formal assessment that you were going to keep the data from when it just repeats the same questions over and over again, and the data might not be as good. So it is worth taking the time to make sure you're using it in the most effective way possible. Again, speak to the pupils. You might find that they have ones that they prefer over the other ones, but overall, they're amazing to use online tools. They're really interactive, they're really engaging, and the data you get is fab. I'm still learning, I'm always learning, and I'm always up for hearing about different tools. So if anyone ever has any tools that they think is really good, please get in touch and let me know because I'd always love to hear about it. So I hope you enjoyed that webinar and I hope that you learned something. And if you ever have any questions, feel free just to get in touch. Thank you. Bye.